this is Memoirs of a Fat Girl, going from FAT to PHAT in real time. You gotta excuse my appearance. I just came back from doing a little bit over a 3-mile walk because I'm trying to get my fat ass out there to do this. So, the first thing I have for you here is pine nuts. So what happened was, I went for this walk and I came back and I was kind of hungry. So I'm like, oh, I would love some like really great granola, but I don't have any. And the line in the store was ridiculous, like ridiculous. There was a line because you have to wait in line now to get inside the stores because of coronavirus. So I didn't want to wait. I knew I had a lot of things in my freezer that I can use to make a healthy granola without wheat or gluten or anything, because I can't have that stuff. It makes me sick. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna gather everything I have and make a granola. So hopefully this will be something you guys can do if you have stuff at home. I don't normally use peanuts. My husband loves peanuts, so I'm not gonna use peanuts in this recipe. If you can tolerate peanuts and you like them, go ahead. I just won't. So let me tell you what I have in here. Hands are washed, everything's clean. These are pine nuts. So I got some pine nuts in here. I had some pecans. So about a cup of pecans goes in here. I had some slivered almonds, but you know the sliced almonds actually works really nice too, especially when you're, you know, eating it as a granola and it has a nice crunch. But I had slivered, so slivered is what it is. So I have slivered almonds, 1 cup as well. I had some walnuts, so I chopped them up because I usually keep all of my nuts in the freezer, which I suggest you do as well, because the nuts in the freezer, they won't go rancid so quickly, and then you can do this like an emergency granola. I didn't know that I was gonna need, but apparently I did, because I'm really craving granola. Oh, these are walnuts. Walnuts are going in, about a cup as well. I had some pumpkin seeds that I had bought a while ago when I was making a recipe. I just took them out, about a cup of those. And then I had some unsweetened coconut flakes, and I use these sometimes. I cream them and I make like a cream out of it, or I just use them as a topping. So when I want something like crunchy, also they're really good baked. If you bake them with like a little bit of cinnamon, they get like this sweetness in the oven, and you take them out and you have coconut chips. So I had those on hand, so about a cup of those too. Coconut oil, which is melted, okay? So don't use it, you know, when it's still in its hardened state. Use it while it's melted, because it does a nice job with you being able to mix it into your granola. Before I put that in, I'm gonna put in some sukrin gold. Sukrin gold? Yes, sukrin gold, which is like a alternative brown sugar. And the reason I'm using the sukrin gold and cinnamon is because it has, well, it's alternative to sugar, right? I'm trying to not have sugar. So I'm gonna just mix this around a little bit. There is cinnamon in here as well, about a tablespoon. I will make sure that I link it down below so that you guys can make this recipe too if you feel like making granola at home. I just needed to do something. It's in the mood for something like crunchy and yummy and delicious and sweet, but not sugary, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna mix my coconut oil with with this alternative syrup that I have. It's called Syrup Gold, and it's by Sukrin as well, and it's like an alternative to like syrup or honey, and it's also supposed to be very low in sugar. So I'm going to mix these together, and then I'm going to pour this in. You know, if you like simple recipes, I will also try to link it up above somewhere. My recipe for my chia and oat pudding, so good, and it's so like really great to have as a quick and easy fix. And you know, with these times that we're in right now, where we're all at home and we're all trying to find things to do, I figured, you know what, a really fun, quick, easy recipe would probably be so much fun for you guys to do something maybe a little different if you haven't done this before. So let me mix this all together. That was pretty easy, right? That was pretty easy. So I decided, you know what, let me grab some like keto chocolate chips. And Lily's, I didn't know this, makes a keto chocolate chip. So that's this. Now you can do it 2 ways. You can melt it in with your granola, and it'll just melt all over your granola, and it'll be fine. It'll be hard, it'll be fine. I don't want to do that. I kind of want to treat myself a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toast my granola really well. Now make sure this is all incorporated, okay? Try to make sure that everything is covered because you want it all, oops. Okay. The counter is disinfected, clean, sanitized, believe me. I have been a little bit cray-cray. So we are going to, okay, so this looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. Doesn't that look yummy? Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And the reason you want everything covered is so that everything gets a nice golden color and gets very crispy. And that's what I love. I love my granola to be like really crispy, and I'll put it either over some coconut yogurt, or I'll put it over and put some almond milk in it and eat it as a cereal, which is what I am craving today. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. So this looks pretty darn good and very well mixed. Can you see that? So nice. So then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna pour this in here. And I have, you can use parchment paper. I have this silk pad, and the silk pad is actually awesome because you can reuse it, right? So it's less waste, but also it just does a great job at like making sure you can pull it off at the end, which I will show you. Like once this is all toasted and beautiful, taking it out of the oven, and on the silk pad's a little easier because you pick up the whole silk pad and you kind of crush it together, and you can find that really easily. I bought this on Amazon, and so you can go right on Amazon and just look up baking pads. This one is a full sheet. This is a full sheet one, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. That's it. How easy was that? Come on, that was easy. Tell me you guys can't make this. You guys can totally make this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into the oven. And that was it beeping, telling me I'm ready, I'm ready. So I'm gonna pop this into the oven. It's at 350 degrees. I didn't wanna go too high, because if you go too high, the sugars will burn quickly and then you just have like a burnt mess. So go a little lower, 325, 350, and let it sit, and for like, I'm gonna say about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm gonna actually test it to see, because it's the first time I'm actually making this particular recipe. I usually use, you know, when I was making my own granolas before, like I'll make them at the restaurants or whatever, I always made them and I use like, you know, corn syrup or agave and sugar and all that kind of stuff. And this is alternative stuff, so I'm hoping that it works the same. But I'm gonna go ahead and check on it in about 10 minutes just to check it, and then maybe a couple of minutes every time after that to make sure. So that is it. And so I will be right back, and when I come back, I will show you what it looks like. I will taste it for you, and hopefully you guys will leave me comments if you've tried it, and or you have ideas of what I can add, because if it's a low carb thing, I want to add it. That's why you don't see anything with wheat or puffs or oats or anything like that in here. And then at the end, I'm just gonna put like a little less than half a cup of these keto chocolate chips, because why not? They're low in, they actually have no sugar. It's all made with stevia, and they're delicious. Why not have a little bit of that, right? It's like a dark chocolate. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. I will be right back. All right, welcome back. And so I finished doing the granola. What I did is I put it in at 350 degrees. I did 10 minutes, and then I tossed it around a little bit with my spatula, and then I did another 10 minutes. Moved it around with my spatula, and then I did an extra 5 minutes. I think you can spare to do another extra 10. It's not as oh man, it's not as crispy as I like it. Oh man, that's really good. That's really good. Okay, so remember I was telling you about the silk pad, right? This is what I like about the silk pad. You can actually pull this off. It's a little harder sometimes, unlike parchment paper, or if you don't use paper. Don't use foil though, because it will stick to the foil and you're gonna be really mad. So I'm gonna let this cool a little bit. It's still kind of warm, so that's why it's a little soft. But I'm gonna take all of these pieces, I'm gonna pop them in this container here. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah, some of it is really crunchy, which is nice. I'm gonna put this in to an airtight container. I'll probably use a mason jar or something so I can have like a little bit of cereal in the mornings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let this cool a little bit. It's still a little bit warm. And then what I'm gonna do is take the chocolate chips. Remember I told you about the chocolate chips? I don't even know if I'll use a quarter cup, maybe a little less. Toss it all together, put it in my mason jar, and I will not refrigerate it because the sugars in a refrigerator get very soft, and then this will be like a gooey mess. So don't put it in the fridge. Put it in a nice, cool, dry place, all right, in your cupboard or something like that. But I think this is amazing. I don't know if you can see that, but it is beautiful, and it tastes really, like really, really good. Really good. This will probably be for me. My husband's not a big granola fan. I am. You guys can use it for other things. I'm gonna make a nice cream, they call it, which is just bananas, like frozen bananas. I actually can record that for you as well. I'm gonna put maybe some almond butter in that. Use more of that sukrin gold syrup and make like a nice ice cream out of it, but with frozen bananas. I think it'll work. I'll see if it does. If it does, you're going to see that video coming out. So thank you so much for watching. This is Neena Perez at Memoirs of a Fat Girl, going from FAT to PHAT in real time. Have a good day.